Hello, everybody. Welcome to our summer camp, day one of Model 1, Topic 1, Order of Operations. Um, so today we're going to be doing order of operations. You should have seen the previous video where you had to do um, basic operations because in order to, you have to know how to multiply, add, subtract, divide, negative numbers, positive numbers in order to do these problems correctly. So hopefully we've learned that already and you did those examples correctly. But in order of operations, you have to evaluate these problems in a specific order. Okay, otherwise you get the problem wrong. There's a famous acronym called PEMDAS. I'm sure you've heard of before. PEMDAS stands for you do parentheses first or brackets if there's like a parenthesis with the inside a parenthesis. We use brackets for the outside parenthesis. And then E stands for exponents. M and D, multiplication, division, you got to make sure that you go from left to right. So sometimes you're going to divide first, sometimes you're going to multiply first. You do whatever comes first in the problem. And A and S, the same thing, left to right, you do addition and subtraction. So let's take a look at these examples. This means 9 minus 4 times 7. Okay. PEMDAS states that we're going to multiply before we subtract. Now, you might think, wait a second, we're supposed to do parentheses before we multiply. There's no parentheses here in the thought that when we say parentheses, that means there's something to do inside the parentheses. You haven't got the answer inside the parentheses yet. I'll just show you real quickly what I mean by that. If you look at example 3, see here, 6 minus 9, there's something to do in there. We haven't got the parentheses yet. So we will do parentheses first here. But in this example, we don't consider having parentheses because when you have two numbers next to each other, like in parentheses like this, it means to multiply. Okay. So going step by step, 9 minus 4 times 7, you multiply first, the 4 and the 7. So we drop down the 9, we drop down the minus, and then 4 times 7 is 28. And if you learned our lesson last time, the introduction of basic operations of subtraction, you know that when one number is positive, like the 9 is, and the 28 is kind of negative, right, with that minus sign, when you have two separate signs, you subtract the numbers and you change the sign. You keep the sign of the bigger number that's negative in this case. So 9 minus 28, you do 28 minus 9, which is 19. The bigger number is negative, so the answer is negative. I also showed you what you can do is 9, you change the minus to a plus sign, and then you write negative 28. And here you can see we really are adding two numbers. One's positive, one's negative, which means we subtract them, and the bigger number is negative, so it's negative 19. Okay. Example 2. This is similar, except here you got a negative times a positive here, so you got to pay attention to those rules we learned last video. So 12 minus negative 3 times 4, we're going to multiply first. So I'm going to drop down the 12. Remember, I'm doing step by step, one step at a time, okay? So I'm going to drop down the 12. I'm going to drop down this minus sign, and the negative is a negative 12. And I did show you on our last video and homework assignment that you could change a minus minus to plus plus. Okay, so 12 minus a negative 12 means 12 plus 12, which is 24. Okay. Example 3. Okay, so here, this is when we're going to do parentheses first. Not these parentheses, because these numbers in the parentheses are already there, but this parenthesis because I don't know that answer yet. Then we will multiply, and then we will add. So 6 minus 9 is negative 3. Remember, that's 6 plus a negative 9. So we're going to subtract the numbers and keep the sign of the bigger number. So 6 minus 9 is negative 3. And because I'm doing one step at a time, I'm going to drop all the rest of this problem. I'm then going to multiply. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So I drop down the rest. I have -3 plus a -8. And we learned that when you're adding two negatives into the same sign, you actually add the numbers. 3 plus 8 is 11, and you keep the negative sign, so it's -11. All right, we're going to be doing some exponents here. We're going to be doing some basic exponents, right? So remember what 3 squared means. 3 squared means 3 times 3. Okay, 5 cubed means multiply 5 3 times. 5 times 5 times 5. Okay, so that's what an exponent does. It means you multiply this number this many times with itself. Okay, so I have two sets of parentheses. I actually don't know the number here, and I don't know the number here yet. So because I have two sets of parentheses in the same problem, I am going to go left to right, one parenthesis at a time. So 3 times 3, or 3 squared, is 9. So I'm going to change this to 7 plus 9. And then, like always, I'm going to bring down all the rest of the problem because I'm only going to do one operation at a time. And then I still don't have the answer to this parenthesis yet, so I still have to finish the parentheses. So 7 plus 9 is 16. Okay. Drop down the times, and then parentheses -2 minus 8. Okay. Now, before I multiply, I got to finish up this parenthesis. So hopefully you know that -2 minus 8 is -10. Okay. And now we multiply. 16 times -10. Remember what we learned yesterday. A positive times a negative is negative. So 16 times 10 is 160. So it's -160. Got two more examples here. Okay. All right. Now, this confuses students sometimes. Those are the division and a multiplication. Now, of course, we are going to do the parentheses first. Negative and multiplication, I'm sorry, division and multiplication, you do go left to right. Okay. So first we're going to do the parentheses, and 2 minus 6 is -4. So I'm going to drop all the rest. Now, what a lot of students do is they just automatically multiply first, because in PIMDOS, the M comes before the D, so they think you multiply first. Look what happens if you multiplied first. 4 times -4 is -16, and -48 divided by -16 is a +3. But that's not the correct answer. Okay, so -48 divided by 4, you do that first, which is -12. And then -12 times -4 is a +. And our last example, we do parentheses first. So 10 minus 3 is 7. Okay. Drop down the squared minus -12 times 3. Okay. We then do exponents. So 7 squared means 7 times 7, which is 49. We drop down all that. Okay. Now we divide before we subtract. So I'm going to do the -12 divided by 3 first, which is 49 minus a -4. -12 divided by 3 is -4. Minus minus becomes a plus. So 49 plus 4 is 50. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll now look at our lesson plans. Have a good day.